Volume 3, Further in Time, is the third port of call in a process that started 6 years ago.
Further in Time has seen, I think, all the members of the group work harder and more determined than they've had in the past, and I think that's come through a lot of the live performance and just getting to know one another.
Volume 1 was the inception of a project, and Volume 2 was the realisation of a band and our coming to age as a group. And Volume 3, I think, has taken the initial premises of the Afro Celts and have pushed them further in time, if you like.
C'est que Afro Celt s'inspire de ces deux grandes cultures celtiques africaines pour composer sa musique. Et nous avons tous ces instruments celtiques qui arrivent à conjuguer le même verbe que les instruments africains.
I think we threw an awful lot of new mud at the wall this time, in this album, see would it stick. Boy did it stick. It's a full fruition, if you like, of the period of 6 years.
The Woman Festival gets all sorts of musicians from all around the world together, and one of the things started happening is that people started playing music together off the stages, backstage, in the tour bus, on trains, and all sorts of great things started happening. So we pulled all these people together and invited a few others into the studios here and had these things we call recording weeks, and that was the beginning of the band. It's really now become something else. It's got its very own strong identity. It's very energetic, very soulful. I think, you know, you've got Ila's beautiful voice on top of it, and it's quite unique.
In the studio with the Afro Celts, I remember somebody, I think Simon must have mentioned, oh, this track sounds like it could do with some vocals like Robert Plant or something. I think that it must have jolted their minds as to, hold on, Johnny's toured with him, hold on a minute. So, you know, they asked me to give him a call, and I said, well, he can only say no, so I'll ask him.
I met Johnny Carlsey from the Doll Foundation, who called me about 6 months ago and said he was working with Afro Celt. I was thrilled to hear that because I like their music, and he called me up one day and he said, can you sing on this album? And I was a bit hesitant because I was in the middle of this new concept myself, but he sent me the tape and it sounded really good, so I felt flattered that I could actually join in the project.
The choice of getting Robert to do it was an inspired one. There's no doubt about it. I think it's one of my favourite tracks on the entire album.
Life Begin Again, it reminds me of the sort of wistful, I guess optimistic but rather abstract way that I used to write in Led Zepp. I wanted to make the song with the Afro Celts into something where it wasn't just me pompously sort of projecting. I wanted to make the thing more of a weave, rather like Led Zeppelin's Battle of Evermore. Julie Murphy is an English girl who sings in Welsh. So I called her and she came to London, and we were looking for something to do, and the guys from Afro Celt weren't quite sure of what she could do. And I said, well, you know, I know quite a few Welsh poems in Welsh. And I said, why don't you give us a poem that relates in some way or has a parallel to this sort of intention of this song. And so she recited in Welsh, or sang in Welsh, the poem about the nightingale. It's a beautiful poem. And she just wove it.
The land and sky are quiet. The heart is beating within.
The thing that's remarkable about the Afro Celts is music that I may have been connected with, that I handed on, seems to go in in the way that you'd hoped it would go. And that comes with, I think, understanding each other and probably loving each other. Shadowman was one of the earliest tracks. It's got very dance-orientated, club-orientated sort of atmospheres. Then suddenly, bang, within seconds, the bouzouki's in, it's gone into chords and whistles shrieking out.
The extraordinary thing about this band is we have a way of visualising something and then making it happen.
One of the songs that we worked on for this album is a song called When You're Falling. And very early on when we were working on it, it kind of became pretty obvious that the best person for the job would be Peter Gabriel in terms of singing it.
When they started talking about the Volume 3 Further in Time record, they wanted a couple of guest vocalists in on different tracks, and I got asked to do something, and I thought it could be a lot of fun to do. I heard the track and really liked the feel of it, and it was a lot of fun. It was very loose and relaxed, and I started getting into the rhythm.
When you're falling, I can tell which way you stand. And when you're screaming.
To get it right, we needed a proper pop producer in to tighten it up. There was something in the track, there's a real kind of energy, there's a pop sensibility to it that I think just shines through.
The backing vocals, the kind of texture of it is really good. It's very joyful, it's compact. I think Stephen Hague did a wonderful job in tightening it up, ratcheting it together, and just bolting it together in a really solid, kind of effective way. Lagan is a river in the north of Ireland. And James came up with the title long before the song was conceived.
I particularly loved the progressions of it. Myself and Martin worked on them quite a few days to get the passion and the power for Iarla to do his usual thing, to come in and deliver that same passion and power. If we could create that, then he would give us exactly what we wanted. And then in the middle of it as well, there's Nafali comes in and almost transports us to Istanbul. There's a little piece, like a little call to prayer, right in the middle of it, as the strings are rising. And it's almost like a race with the passion of the dun da 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 dun da da, and the big drums coming at you. It is like a race. It's the Grand National of races, where you start off, Iarla's at the front of it, singing the songs, and the whole band are right behind him. And as the movements of the strings happen, the energy, the power, leaves you completely breathless.
It turns out that Nafali, in particular, and Denba, have just such a huge range in what they are able to achieve musically.
Eward, c'est une chanson qui me tient beaucoup à cœur, parce que la manière dont l'accompagnement, la musique a été composée Et l'idée de la musique instrumentale qui a été mise m'a tellement réconforté dans ma composition, parce que c'est une composition que j'ai faite sur la parole, rien que la parole.
Further in time and onwards, I think, are superb examples of Nafali singing, and people have criticised us in the past for not really bringing the African element forward enough, that basically it's an African flavour, but it's not really an identity. And I think on this album, I mean, Further in Time, I think is a really great kind of Afro house track. I love Nafali's voice because it's deeper, it's got a rich tenor-like quality about it, it's got a kind of sensitivity, and his kind of rapping, his African rapping, his rhythmic singing is stunning as well.
Fantastic. This is a huge discovery for us. I mean,
Yeah.
it opens up a whole new range of possibilities for what we can do.